Good evening. Welcome to Deep Dive, where we plunge into the depths of the unexplained and the unsettling. Tonight, we journey to a place steeped in darkness, a hotel synonymous with tragedy and despair, the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Opened in 1924, this grand dame quickly earned a sinister reputation. It was a temporary home for notorious serial killers like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and Jack Unterweger. Its halls have witnessed countless suicides, baffling murders, and disappearances. The Cecil isn't just a building, it's a monument to the macabre, a place where the veil between worlds feels perpetually thin. It's into this ominous backdrop that our story begins, a story that remains to this day an open wound in the fabric of reality. Our focus tonight is Elisa Lamb, a vibrant 21-year-old student from British Columbia, Canada. She was on a solo cross-country trip, a journey of self-discovery documented through her blog and social media. Elisa had been battling depression and bipolar disorder, but was reportedly stable and on medication. Her itinerary included stops in San Diego and Santa Cruz before her final destination, Los Angeles. On January 26, 2013, she checked into the Cecil Hotel, a choice that, in hindsight, seems like a cruel twist of fate. She was initially assigned a shared hostel-style room on the 5th floor, but a few days later, due to unspecified complaints from her roommates, she was moved to a private room on the same floor. A small detail perhaps, but in cases like this, every detail echoes. Elisa was last seen alive on January 31, 2013. She had called her parents that day, a routine check-in, and reportedly told them she was staying at the Cecil, expressing no concerns. Her parents grew worried when she failed to contact them the next day, February 1st, a break in their daily routine. They immediately contacted the LAPD. Police began their search, initially concentrating on the hotel. Witnesses claimed to have seen her on the morning of January 31st, but beyond these vague sightings, Elisa Lamb simply vanished. It was as if she stepped out of one reality and into another, leaving no trace, no explanation. Days turned into weeks, and the search intensified. With no leads, the police released surveillance footage hoping for public assistance. This footage, captured on the night of January 31st from inside one of the Cecil Hotel's elevators, would become the most perplexing, disturbing, and analyzed piece of evidence in the entire case. The video, clocking in at just under 4 minutes, shows Elisa entering the elevator. What happens next defies easy explanation, pulling you into a vortex of confusion and dread. This is not just a recording, it's a portal into a mind unraveling, or perhaps a terrifying encounter unfolding. Elisa enters the elevator, dressed in a red hoodie over a gray t-shirt and shorts. She presses multiple floor buttons. Her movements seem normal at first, a typical hotel guest, but the doors don't close. She peeks out, then quickly ducks back in, as if someone is waiting, or as if she's playing a game of hide and seek. She presses the buttons again, more emphatically this time. Still, the doors remain stubbornly open. The air in the elevator feels heavy, charged with an invisible presence. Is she alone? Is she trying to escape something? Or is she caught in a psychological spiral, battling an unseen demon? The footage continues, growing increasingly unsettling. Elisa steps out of the elevator, moving to the right, then back again. She paces, waves her hands in what appears to be a conversational or pleading gesture, her movements becoming more erratic, almost frantic. She looks both ways down the corridor, her body language conveying a mix of fear, confusion, and desperate communication. But there is no one else visible in the frame. Who is she talking to? What is she reacting to? The absence of an explanation amplifies the chilling nature of her actions, suggesting either a profound mental distress or an interaction with something beyond the camera's lens, something truly sinister. After several more moments of this strange pantomime, Elisa steps back into the elevator, briefly, then exits for the final time. She walks out of the frame to the left, and the elevator doors finally close. The camera records an empty car for a full minute before the footage ends. This is the last verified visual record of Elisa Lam. The doors closing behind her mark not an end, but a terrifying transition. From this point, her fate becomes a blank page, filled only by speculation and dread. The elevator, a mundane mechanism of travel, becomes a silent witness to a final, desperate act. The release of the elevator footage ignited a firestorm online. Internet sleuths, true crime enthusiasts, and even seasoned investigators became obsessed with every frame, every gesture. Theories abounded. Was it a supernatural encounter? The infamous elevator game, a Korean ritual believed to transport you to another dimension? Or a symptom of her bipolar disorder, a psychotic episode captured in terrifying detail? The LAPD, however, maintained a more grounded search, expanding their efforts beyond the hotel, but with no body, no forced entry, and no clear signs of struggle, they were grasping at shadows. The case became a global phenomenon, fueled by the internet's insatiable hunger for mystery. Weeks later, on February 19, 2013, guests at the Cecil Hotel began to complain. They reported low water pressure and, more disturbingly, a strange, dark discoloration and an awful, putrid smell emanating from the tap water. They described it as earthy or bitter, a stench that permeated their showers and drinking glasses. Maintenance worker Santiago Lopez was dispatched to investigate the complaints. His search led him to the rooftop, a restricted area usually accessible only by staff, and even then, requiring specific key cards and codes. It was here, atop the infamous Cecil, that the true horror of Elisa Lam's disappearance would finally surface. Lopez made his way to the large, cylindrical water tanks that supplied the hotel. To gain access, he had to take a service elevator to the 14th floor, then climb a ladder to the roof, bypass a locked door, and ascend yet another ladder to reach the top of the tanks. Upon opening one of the 4 8-foot-tall heavy metal lids, he peered inside. What he saw plunged the already chilling mystery into a realm of unimaginable horror. Floating face up, naked, swollen, and partially decomposed was the body of Elisa Lam. She had been there for 19 days. Her belongings, including her room key and identification, were found near the tank's opening. The discovery raised more questions than it answered. How did Elisa, a young woman with no staff access, get to a locked rooftop? How did she climb the 10-foot ladder to the top of the water tank? And how did she manage to open the heavy, seemingly sealed lid, which reportedly required significant effort and strength, from the outside, then climb in, and somehow close it again, leaving no trace of how? The police initially speculated she might have used a fire escape, but this was later disproven. The physics of her getting into that tank, alone and unaided, seemed impossible. It defied logic, lending an even more surreal quality to her demise. The Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner coroner performed an autopsy. The official cause of death was ruled accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a significant contributing factor. Toxicology reports found traces of her prescribed medications in her system, but at subtherapeutic levels, suggesting she may not have been taking them consistently. There were no signs of physical trauma, no evidence of sexual assault, and no indication of foul play. The narrative was that Elisa, in a psychotic episode, somehow made her way to the roof, climbed into the tank, and drowned. But for many, this explanation felt profoundly unsatisfying, leaving the central how unanswered, overshadowed by the chilling visual evidence of her final moments. The case was further complicated by a series of unsettling coincidences. The 2005 American horror film Dark Water, based on a Japanese film, features a mother and daughter moving into a dilapidated apartment building where dark, murky water begins to drip from their ceiling. The source is eventually traced to the building's rooftop water tank, where the body of a girl who had gone missing from the building is discovered. The similarities to Elisa Lam's case were eerie and sparked intense speculation online. Moreover, the Lam-Elisa test, a common diagnostic method for tuberculosis, found itself trending as people searched for Elisa Lam. A macabre synchronicity, linking her name to a disease and a film about a water tank death, further entwining her fate with an almost predetermined sense of dread. Despite the official ruling, the circumstances of Elisa Lam's death remain shrouded in mystery. Was it truly an accidental drowning compounded by mental illness? Or was there an unseen hand involved, a predator who was never identified? The Cecil Hotel's dark history, the bizarre elevator footage, the impossible access to the water tank, the unsettling coincidences, all conspire to prevent true closure. Her story serves as a chilling reminder of how quickly a life can be extinguished, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and an indelible mark on the collective consciousness. The Cecil Hotel continues its operations, its reputation forever stained by the tragic, perplexing end of Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam's case is more than just a mystery, it's a profound human tragedy. A young woman, venturing out into the world, met an end that defies our understanding and challenges our perceptions of reality. Her final moments, immortalized on that unsettling elevator footage, continue to haunt us, a digital ghost in the machine. The Cecil Hotel, a silent witness to so much sorrow, stands as a grim monument to her memory, a place where, even now, one can almost feel the lingering presence of the lost. And so, the deep dive into the disappearance of Elisa Lam concludes, leaving us with a heavy silence and the chilling certainty that some doors, once closed, reveal only deeper enigmas. Good night.